Welcome back. You're watching Connections. I'm Professor Donald Jones, standing in for Philip J. Brutus. Connections is a show where we connect you to the world with a panel of experts and friends to give you advice, opinion, and their sensitive thoughts. We're now talking about social networks, and we spent some time talking about the challenge that social networks have created for privacy. But we also want to make a point about the value and the potential of these social networks, how you as entrepreneurs, as professionals, can use these networks to advance yourselves. Let me turn first to Attorney Danette Love.
I know, and we don't want to demonize, because just as well as these social networks you can use them for bad, I think they're used for good more than they're used for bad. And I know personally, I do a radio talk show. I'm a personality on another talk show, and we've used Facebook to promote that talk show and gotten really good response. People listen. You can give out information about that. On one of those shows, we had 25 of the 42 judicial candidates on our show when the judicial races were going on in Broward County. And every one of them had a Facebook page. And they started their Facebook page very, very early, a year, maybe 2 years before the elections. And it was, vote for Judge, I know Judge Rebello had a page, and Judge Solomon had a page, and there were a number of them that Elijah Williams had a page. There are a number of them that relied on those pages to get the vote out. So there are a lot of positive things that those things do, and they're meant to do that. There are people whose business survived,
prospered because of
based on the ability of these social networks to get the word out about their business or their service or whatever it is that they do.
Family members have been found also through that. Friends, long lost friends have been found, and we have situations also where
Perhaps pets.
Oh,
Pets?
Pets. He's playing. Good one. But Facebook pets. That's a good one. But and you never know too. So you might find some people that might actually start putting their pets on and making profiles for them. I mean, it can be comical, which that's another thing. It brings out. I've found long lost uncles, cousins. I mean, at this point, we don't really have as much time to socialize with people the way we used to. Sometimes I go out and someone's like, oh, I just saw you, how are you? And in reality, they didn't see you, they saw you on your Facebook. And they pretty much know how you're doing and how you're going. Oh yeah, you seem to be doing well. So there is definitely a positive side to Facebook, provided that we take responsibility and treat it as such. So,
well, just on the last comment on this, one of the concerns, and we would want to make sure people are protected as they use these social networking devices. There was a case in which an individual made a comment about his boss on Facebook, and they thought that because it was Facebook, they were protected. There was this umbrella of free expression, and they were fired. And now there's a major lawsuit challenging his dismissal, claiming that he should have and he said something that was that the supervisor felt was harmful to him in his job as a supervisor. Natasha, can you help us with this issue?
I don't really know the details of that particular case. I wouldn't be able to comment on it. But I did want to say, for example, when you are signing up for Facebook, there is a provision in there that you have to agree to, and it says that every picture you put up, everything that you put on your Facebook is owned by Facebook. Mm-hmm. So that's something also that people should be wary of. When you're putting up these pictures, don't be amazed that maybe 2 or 3 weeks later you may see it on a commercial. Or I had a client that actually came into me. She had taken some bathing suit pictures, put them on her Facebook, and then she brought in an advertisement where they took her literal picture and used it on an advertisement.
Wow. So the word is be careful.
Be careful, because they can take your material and sell your material.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyone can,
Wow.
They just tag your face too on anything. They can tag your pictures and they can tag you just about anywhere. I mean, that you have the option to remove if you want, but as far as once it gets into the web, that's it. You know, MySpace has the same situation. You just copy and paste, boom, and move it out. So.
Wow, wow, wow. So technology is both a gift and a burden.
curse at the same
Gift
time.
and a curse at the same time. Well, you know,
And
on
so
that
is your
note-
beauty.
No, don't get on Facebook and talk about your boss. Bad idea.
Yeah,
Bad
I mean,
idea.
use your discretion.
Yeah.
Really bad
Use your
idea.
common sense.
Yeah.
Or at least don't befriend them. Don't block them off.
And
you
that-
can block off your boss from seeing anything on your page. So,
And as we
There's
talk about
that.
technology, one of the things that was one of the great stories that came out of the 60s was a story about a guy named Daniel Ellsberg. And Ellsberg was a employee of the government, and he thought that the war in Vietnam was wrong. And he discovered some information which showed that the government hadn't told the truth about the war in Vietnam. He reveals this in something called the Pentagon Papers. It became a major story. He became a major hero. And since then, technology has advanced, and so no longer are whistleblowers using copy machines. We have a particular whistleblower who's using the internet and the cyberspace as his means of dissemination. So we have the case of Julian Assange in the news. Assange, who released thousands of pages of classified U.S. documents, starting with information about the Afghan war and continuing showing things between diplomats like Hillary Clinton and what she said that she thought in private about him behind his back, embarrassing the United States. And now, in the aftermath of these disclosures, we discover that he has recently been arrested in Britain, being held on probable cause to believe that there is a warrant for him in Sweden for rape. And to talk about this fascinating case, I'll turn to attorney Natasha Main. Do you have any information for us about this case?
I first want to give a little history as to who Julian Assange is. Julian Assange is the founder, the chief editor, and also the spokesperson for WikiLeaks, which is a website that disseminates documents from anonymous sources. And this particular time, it's documents with the relationship between the United States and the Afghan/Iraq war. And apparently a couple of weeks ago, he sent out, how many documents was that regarding this?
25,000.
25,000 documents. And
Some of which were published.
correct.
Some
Correct.
of which were published.
So, and they still don't know where he got these documents from. And I think they're never going to know exactly who gave him the documents.
And there is a controversy. Some people see Assange as a hero. Others see him
Right.
as a terrorist.
Right. Americans see him as the terrorist.
Oh yeah.
Danette Love, how do you see it?
You know, I think we need people like Julian.
And I
think,
agree.
I think we need it because it helps to keep people honest.
Yes.
You know, he exposes them,
Yes.
and I think that's why they hate him.
Yes.
Well, one of
Because-
the interesting things about WikiLeaks, he compares himself to a Dr. King in the civil rights. But one of the things the civil rights people did, the civil disobedience did, they stand responsible for what they do. Assange has been a ghost. He doesn't have an address. He doesn't have a
You
telephone.
can't get in contact with him.
He doesn't want to.
Well, you know what? I don't blame him.
Me
Because
too.
if you're gonna leak stuff on the U.S. government, you better be invisible.
Now, of course, some of the stuff he has submitted, Amnesty International has contacted him and said, well, some of the information you've given shows the names of informants to the United States, and that those informants may be killed in Afghanistan. They may be killed in Iraq. And so, I mean, are you concerned that he may not have the discretion?
I think there's always a question of discretion in these things, but I think they make discretion a bigger issue than it really is because they don't want this stuff out there. They don't want him leaking this kind of information, so they try to make a bigger issue of something that's plausible, not likely or possible, but they want to make an issue of that because they want to shut him up. That's what they want.
Well, wish we had more time on this segment. Stay with us. You're watching Connections. I'm Professor Donald Jones. We'll be back in a moment.